What's good? Jamil Parker representing YSM Sports Media, and this is Boxing Brotherhood Live. Here with my man JR from the Boxing Source. What's good, JR?
Yo, what's going on, brother Jamil?
How's it going, man?
Just chilling, man. Chilling, winding down, but hey, like I said, man, just hungry for boxing, I guess.
Yo, I I was watching a real interesting interview that you had with Steven Nelson, the prospect, super middleweight prospect from out of Omaha, Nebraska. And can you touch on what y'all talked about?
Well, yeah, we had the podcast that was live Sunday. It's available on iTunes with the now NABO super middleweight champion Steven Nelson, and there was one segment of that conversation where I kind of was trying to bring up Bomac, who is his trainer, a longtime trainer, and then a question came up in reference to Bomac, because Bomac is not only the trainer of Steven Nelson, but he is also the trainer and manager of Terrence Bud Crawford. So, one person on this podcast asked a question of, if Bomac is Terrence Crawford's manager, then why has he not made a fight between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence? And that triggered a conversation that lasted, I would say, 30 to 45 minutes of the show. That was a lot of back and forth between a couple callers, Steve Nelson, and one other person that called in that was, on the side of Terrence Crawford. I later found out who that person actually was. I didn't even really know it, but it was, somebody that is kind of affiliated, or knows one guy that we are both familiar with,
Oh,
Charles.
oh
He's familiar with
man.
Charles. He's familiar with Charles, so he jumped in the conversation. But in reference to Steven Nelson, him being in Omaha, Nebraska, he is extremely familiar with Terrence Crawford, and kind of says that you know from his perspective, it's like the Errol Spence has plans before fighting Terrence Crawford.
Mhm.
So he'll, fight this guy and fight that guy, and then after that, they'll fight Terrence Crawford. But supposedly that means that he is, quote unquote, reluctant to fight Terrence Crawford. But I guess we'll break down the things for both sides here real quick, I guess.
Yo, so I'm a Bud fan, right? And I've gone on record saying that I think Bud would beat I think Bud would beat Earl Spence, and not before just the accident, just in general. I think Bud has just more tools than Earl Spence. Earl Spence is like straight up and down, no special effects, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that everyone points the finger towards the PBC and Earl Spence side for this fight not happening, and it's two sides to every story. I feel like both sides are complicit in this fight not happening. And a lot of people just want to point to their finger at Al Haymon and Earl Spence. They don't want the fight. But at the end of the day, let's look at the landscape of the welterweight division. Who would you say are the top five welterweights in boxing?
Well, I mean, I go through a specific period. I mean, you could add Terrence Crawford, but you take away Terrence Crawford, you're going to have Errol Spence, you're going to have Sean Porter, you're going to have Danny Garcia, and you could have Keith Thurman or Manny Pacquiao. But even with both, you still add them on there, and we could go even further if you want. But you see where we're going at with that, where I'm going at with that particular list, right?
Yeah. Now, everybody you named was a PBC fighter.
That's right.
Okay, so the business of boxing is very simple, right? You have your promotional companies, you have your networks, and so on and so forth. And I don't think people really understand that a network is paying a promoter or whatever Al Heyman claims to be. A network is paying him a lot of money to provide quality content for whatever time slot he's allotted, right? So if I'm paying you such $1 million, I want the best on my platform, right? We got somebody else joining, Greg G. Hackett, trainer extraordinaire. What's good, man?
What you gonna call it?
What's good, man? Trainer extraordinaire, Greg Hackett. The Black James Tony.
Yo, y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can't hear Mill.
You can't hear me?
Nah, I can't hear you, I guess.
Damn. All right, yo, I'm gonna take you out, come right back in. That's usually what the issue is.
Yeah.
All right.
He on it. Yeah, man. Yeah, cause like you were saying, man. You have all those fighters, but I constantly, I consistently point to like a little. Well, it's a video, but it's a confrontation that Terrence Crawford and Spence had. And this is what was this 2018? Yeah, 2018.
Yeah,
I think it was
2018.
right. And they were talking back and forth or whatever it is. It's like, oh, I'll knock you out, or I'll knock you out, or I'll put you to sleep. And then Bob Arum steps in, and he's like, hey, this is my guy, Terrence Crawford. I guess it is good advice that you don't want to fight Terrence Crawford right away, because they asked Errol Spence like what his plans were going to be at that particular time.
Well, no. They didn't ask him what his plans were.
Not his plans were, but what
they
Al
asked him
Heyman
without and that's what I wanted to touch on.
Now, with that, he basically named like Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, and Danny Garcia. Like, I don't think he did mention Mikey Garcia at that particular time. But when he named those guys, and Terrence Crawford was like, oh, so they didn't say anything about Terrence Crawford. And he was like, nah, they didn't say anything about Terrence Crawford. So it's like, I mean, Errol Spence is a guy that, he'll fight anybody. He's like, strap season, man. I'll fight you, man. I don't even care, man. So even though they've had multiple conversations back and forth, time after time after time, they both know that the fight won't be put together until all of the pieces are put in place. And like I said on Sunday, I said, you're not going to see it unless it's going to be for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world.
Greg, can you hear me? Now I can't hear Greg. This is crazy.
Yo.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't even hear Greg. I can't hear Greg.
Neither one of us can hear you, Greg.
Yeah, no.
Still can't hear you. All right, wait. I'm gonna try to bring him in one more time. Jay. Still nothing, yo. I guess it's because all these people was using the internet at this time, man. Really wanted to have Greg on. Greg, try to come back if you can, man.
I don't know if you're on the phone or
but
computer. You could try
you
that.
You said it's not gonna happen until it's undisputed. I agree. And the point that I was trying to make earlier is the networks are paying them millions of dollars to have their top tier talent. Shout out to Fighter IQ. To have their top tier talent at that time slot, right? So if I'm paying you millions of dollars, why would I want you taking, your best fighters over to another network
Sure
and
that
having
ain't.
them and
You
having
sure
them
that ain't
possibly lose?
Osmosis Jones?
Yeah, nah, that's fight IQ. But yeah, why would I want you to take them to another network and build the fighters up on another network when we can build our own fighters here? See, that's what people are overlooking. This is a business at the end of the day. Like people want to say, "Oh yeah, the best fight the best," and oh well, yeah, that's cool. But Bob Arum rolled the same way when he had the welterweights when Manny Pacquiao. It was all in-house fight.
Yeah, all in-house fights there.
It's only going to be a cross-promotional fight. When you're dealing with two networks, it has to be a very big pot. And right now, that pot isn't big enough for Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. It's big enough for Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
So people want to throw, oh, well, there was no side of the street with Wilder versus Fury. Yeah, because you're talking about how much did they make at the gate? 17 million?
Yeah, 17.5 million.
Yeah, ain't no side of the street when the gate 17 million.
Like and on that instance, since we're talking about Bob Arum, right? You had the biggest example ever with Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. Because you brought up the whole thing there when you talk about the welterweights. You had Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto, Antonio Margarito. At one point, well, Shane Mosley was kind of like, Timothy Bradley. All of them. Marquez. Who was another welterweight that was there?
I mean, if you could say, you could probably say Ruslan Provodnikov.
Well, Provodnikov, but Provodnikov didn't necessarily fight Pacquiao, but
he fought Bradley though.
Yeah, he fought Bradley. Yeah, he had the 3 fights with Bradley. Because Bradley signed with
Jesse Vargas.
Well, he had Jesse Vargas there too. Trying to see the other one that was there. Joshua Clottey was the other one that I was.
Joshua Clottey, you're right.
Yeah. So all of those guys were within that rotation in top rank before they finally released Manny Pacquiao to fight Floyd Mayweather, because they knew that at that particular time, that's going to be the biggest and most lucrative fight that they could possibly make. I mean, they've had the whole thing out there in what was it, the 24/7 or the Showtime All Access, where they talked about this. So they knew at the time what they were doing between Bob Arum and Floyd Mayweather and Al Heyman. Yeah. So they're trying to do that once again here with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Yeah. So, I mean, if they, they want to make, the most money out of it, so they know what it is. But yeah, the thing with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, like I had favored Errol Spence, mainly because of his size, but the recent stories that I get about Terrence Crawford, size is not a factor. They say that he's country strong. When I mean country strong, I mean that my close friend in Florida knows all of those guys in Omaha, Nebraska, and at one point he got a nudge in his back, and his initial reaction was to do a quick turnaround and do an elbow nudge right back, right? And the guy's 340 pounds, and he does an elbow nudge.
Jay, you hear us? Yo, what is with now? We can't hear him, yo.
Yeah, still
this is crazy.
Yo, it's nuts, man.
Yo, this is crazy. Do you go through the same thing, JR?
Like I can't hear him,
No, I'm saying, do you go through the same thing with
Nah, usually I don't.
It's crazy.
Yeah, usually I don't when folks are at it, so not getting it. Yeah, but he's blazed up though. I can see
definitely is. He definitely is.
Yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, I mean, my guy is like,
Sorry,
340.
G. Dang.
He's like 340, and he does a quick, elbow push back. With a guy that's 340 pounds, if you do a quick, elbow, that's gonna move somebody. It didn't move this guy. That guy was Terrence Crawford, and he was like, "Yo, like, you mean to tell me that, like, you didn't move from that?" He's like, "Yeah, you didn't expect someone like me to not budge, right?" So yeah, Terrence Crawford is like on a whole different level because it's not just him training with the likes of um Steve Nelson and all of that. He trains with a lot of bigger guys, and they say like Bomac had to cut off the whole thing as far as like training between Steve Nelson and Terrence Crawford because they were going too hard at each other. So he
Yeah.
was like, yeah. So he was like, Bomac was like, yeah, like, yo, y'all gonna have to, I'm gonna have to, separate y'all because y'all going too hard at each other and y'all are just, putting too much on each other, man. So yeah, Crawford is, yeah, when they say that he's ready for Errol Spence, he's ready for Errol Spence. And the thing on the other side too is with Errol Spence, a lot of people kind of like criticize him because, like you said, he's kind of straight up and down, no special effects, and
No special effects. I'm
the
talking about.
majority of the opponents that he's faced have been, much well, they've been significantly smaller than him, and
Errol Spence is VHS. You feel me?
listen,
He's not
when they
even
had
DVD. He's
yeah,
VHS, yo.
VHS. But the thing with Spence too though is like there isn't really that much left that he can do now to get down to 147 anymore. Like he says currently that he's around like 160 or 165,
I
but
don't believe that.
I don't believe that either. Cause when I saw him in that interview with
His face was
Matt
fat as
Barnes
shit.
and Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, like, come on, man. Like you telling them that you was up to 189 pounds before you had to get down to 147 to fight Sean Porter. Listen,
Yeah, so I'm supposed to believe that. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, come on, man. Like, yo, I'm looking at your face, and I'm like, bro, you still around 180 something. Like you, like your face, like I'm sorry, but his face is bigger than
His
freaking.
face is fat as shit, man. I'm sitting there
Yo,
when he's sitting there spitting that
he
shit.
was looking.
The same way Errol Spence fans was running around screaming like, yeah, Errol said he's gonna be back in summertime. Yeah, he gonna fight Danny
Yeah.
Garcia in the summertime. He back, man down. He's a savage. And then here he tell
Yo,
you he can't even spar. But he's
yo,
supposed to be back in summer. He can't even spar yet because of his teeth.
yo, yo, his face, he looking bigger than Jerry Hurd.
Yeah. Yo, dude, he is swole as a swamp possum with the
Yo,
mumps. Like, come on, man.
like,
He's
man.
swole like Nipsey Russell, yo.
Yeah, man. Like, come on.
Come
Like,
on,
you
man.
can't tell me that he is not
Bullshit.
like 160, 165 looking
Go
like
with
that.
that bullshit,
He
Earl.
looking, nah, man. He looking bigger than Jamal Charlo, man. Shoot, he need to check them weight numbers. Like, come on,
Because he lying. That's why, man. He's lying.
oh
But
man, yeah.
but I blame Earl, right? Because I feel like Earl's energy changed. His energy changed when he
Yeah.
came to Bud. It
Well,
was man down when he was on the hunt for Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia, this guy, that guy. Even with Jeff Horn, it was man down. But then now when it's Bud, all of a sudden you become a Fortune 500 businessman, right? And
well,
then
I think it's not
wait,
even
wait,
just
wait,
that.
wait. And then with Bud, you saying you want them to fight so bad? Really? You do? So why'd you resign?
Yeah.
If you want them fight so bad, why'd you resign? There have only been count them, 3 cross network fights in the history of boxing. The history, I'm gonna say of modern pay-per-view era. 3.
Yep.
Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury,
Mm-hmm.
Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson.
That's
So
right.
if you really wanted those fights, why would you go over there, knowing that cross-promotional, cross-network fights come so few and far between? Why would you do that?
Well,
It makes you look disingenuous. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, it's that. But the thing is, with on Crawford's side, is that he really does not have that many options. If they're going to actually build this particular fight, like right now, he does have to try to fight those other guys at PBC, whether you have this whole supposed friendship with Sean Porter or not. You're gonna have to fight those guys, and if you want to do something in order to increase the value of that particular fight, you're going to have to fight those guys, and you're going to have to show out against those guys, because they it has to be to the point where you have a clear cut 2 guys at the top of the welterweight division, and that once they fight, that everybody will know that the winner is the unquestionable number 1 guy in the welterweight division, because they have fought everybody that there is to fight within that top 5 and beat them.
Okay, so who would you want to see? Who's the guy right now? I feel like everybody's waiting on Manny Pacquiao, right? So who's the guy right now that Terrence Crawford should fight? Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia? Which one?
One of those 3. To me, I actually think it should be Keith Thurman, even though Sean Porter is willing to fight him, but Sean Porter is willing to fight anybody. So that's the thing with Sean Porter. That's why I respect Sean Porter, because he doesn't care. He'll fight anybody. But I think it's Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman is at the particular point where he's like, okay, I had this close fight against Manny Pacquiao, and I felt that I won the fight against Manny Pacquiao. So, and yeah, I know. But his confidence is still at pretty much at the level where he's almost at the "don't duck me, son" level that he was at a few years ago.
The energy's real high. That "don't duck me, son" energy's real high.
Yeah. That "don't duck me, son" energy is real high with one-time Thurman. So, I mean, for me, and even with Thurman is a guy that's fought Sean Porter, beat Sean Porter, fought Danny Garcia, and fought Manny Pacquiao. So you'd be fighting a guy that has fought 3 of what would proverbially be the top 5 guys right there. So why not have a fight against Keith Thurman at this particular point?
With that fight, well, first I would want, if I'm Bud, I would want Keith to get a tune-up, get him a patsy, let him get back in the win column, and that fight is sell. That fight is sell really well, because what he needs is not just a name. He needs someone who can put asses in the seats, because that's going to help during the negotiations with Earl Spence. Because if you rolling around selling 100,000 pay-per-views and this dude's doing 300,000, but you want 50-50, nobody's going to do that.
Right.
Nobody's going to do that.
Yep.
And let's just be honest, both of them are going to want guarantees of upwards. To Bud already gets $3 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got $5 million for Khan, so he's going to want between 7 and 10 for Spence, guaranteed. That's a lot of money, and I would imagine they aren't projected to make. They aren't projected to go what above 500,000 pay-per-views as of right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense right now.
I thought I saw or heard somewhere where they said at one point how much money they felt they would want to make for that particular fight, and I thought it was like over 10 million. I think it's out there somewhere, but I thought it was like 10 to 15 million for that fight. So, I mean,
my Shannon Sharp.
Nope. Nope.
Skip.
Hey, skip.
Yeah. Nah, I can't see that happening. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I give you another option. It seems that Bob is building up Ramirez and Taylor in for possible bud opponents. Now that could work, but you need them to have their undisputed fight ASAP. ASAP. But they have mandatories. So
But and the thing with that too, even if they went according to schedule without this whole thing going on, you would have, Ramirez versus Taylor for the undisputed, super lightweight championship. Like, those two guys aren't enough for Terrence Crawford at welterweight to build up to a fight against Errol Spence. So, yeah, it might still be an in-house fight, but you're dealing with two guys that are, they're at super lightweight that would have to go up to welterweight to fight a guy that's, pretty much already established at welterweight right now in Terrence Crawford. So it's like, and for me, in order for a Crawford Spence fight to build up a little bit more, either you would have to have on one side one guy beat Pacquiao, or another guy beat someone that's within the top 5, where you would say, okay, this is the fight that's going to pretty much define him in the welterweight division if he's not defined already. Because my thing is with Spence, like, a lot of people felt that Spence really hadn't done much in the welterweight division since he beat Kell Brook until he fought and beat Sean Porter. So when he had that fight, that kind of like said, oh, okay, now we know that Errol Spence could actually beat a guy that's rendered as top 5 in the welterweight division. So with that out of the way, it's like, okay, what is next for Errol Spence? If you're going to have him fight Danny Garcia, okay, he'll fight Danny Garcia. So on the other side with Terrence Crawford, like, Terrence Crawford has faced who? He faced Jeff Horn, or Joe Horn, like Stephen A. Smith says. He's fought Benavidez. He's fought Kavaliauskas. He's fought Amir Khan. But those guys at 147 aren't defined as, even top 10 guys at welterweight. So he needs to have a fight against a guy that is known as a top 10 or a top 5 guy. That's why I name Keith Thurman or Sean Porter or even a Yordenis Ugas. But the thing with Yordenis Ugas is that's not a big enough name.
Yeah.
And it's going to end up being a sloppy fight. So,
all right. So you also got to look at this, right? So with his back and forth, when Keith said, be realistic, send the contract, I'll sign it, right? A lot of people overlooked the be realistic part. Be realistic means you're not going to, just because you're the WBO champ, doesn't mean that you deserve to be the A side, because you're not. And for me, that's true. Big Bo.
Oh, what up?
Big Bo.
Hey,
you hear me?
What's going on? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I hear
Jake,
you. Can
you hear
me?
Bo?
Yeah.
All right, man.
What's
going on? So what's the topic? I kind of.
Who's to blame for the Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight not happening?
Oh, okay. Well, the reality is there really is nobody to blame. And the reason being why I say this, because a lot of times, see, things happen in secret. that a lot of fans aren't privy to. And when you have situations like that, the fans automatically are gonna, when they don't know what's going on behind the scenes, or when they don't put certain things together, they're gonna pick a side. Oh, it's this guy's fault, or it's that guy's fault, right? Terrence Crawford has already came out and said that he don't believe Earl Spence was scared of him. He said that one time on a live stream. Bob Arams came out and said that he had already talked to Al Heyman, him and Al Heyman, if it wasn't for the pandemic and Earl Spence, of course, having the accident, that fight was definitely going to happen. And then a lot of times people forget that anytime you have a potential big money making fight, well, there's going to be marinating. And we listen. I hate it like everybody else hates it, but there's going to be marination. That's just the reality of what the sport is. So for me, I look at, okay, who has better options where if they don't fight this guy, they still got better options where they can make money and build their name until, it's time to fight. So for me, I don't look to blame anyone because I know how this works. Now, there's a situation where, and we have seen this. If there's a situation where there's negotiation and one guy says, okay, man, like I remember when Oscar said, well, if I negotiate a Canelo GGG fight, then we get 90%, GGG get 10%. Okay, that's a sign of, if someone say, hey, man, Oscar clearly ducking because he's doing something outrageous, right? Yeah. I won't argue that, but if they've never talked numbers, if they've never talked figures, if Derek James is saying, well, the money isn't right now to fight Terrence Crawford and stuff like that. Well, that's all a part of building the fight, because once that fight happens, and let's be real, I said this earlier today, man, the biggest mistake boxing made was doing the Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather era. They didn't build no other stars. You look at any other era, you look at the De La Hoya era, you look at the Tyson era, you look at but you look at the era, there were other stars being built around that one superstar. So if that guy wasn't fighting, or you still had good fights taking place, right? Whether they were for championship belts or whatever, you still had good fights taking place. Well, boxing didn't do that. So because boxing didn't do that, they're going to try to milk the mega fights, because once you have the mega fights, then what's left for the winner or the loser? Look at Canelo. Canelo is still one of the biggest attractions in all of boxing. He's still not doing the numbers he used to do after fighting GG. Once he fought GGG, he don't do the numbers he used to do. GGG completely fell the fuck off.
Yeah, that was weird.
He completely fell the fuck off after.
That definitely was weird, bro. You're right.
So once once they fight, each other, it's like, okay, what's left for boxing as far as the mega fight. The only thing that I think I heard somebody mention Ugas. What was that about? Terrence Crawford shouldn't fight Ugas, or?
No, what we're saying is, like, what would be a potential fight for Terrence Crawford that would kind of, quote unquote, build his profile now at welterweight. And my actual pick was going to be Sean Porter, but but for me, the thing with Sean Porter is, like, Sean Porter is my guy because he'll fight anybody. He don't care.
Sure will. He sure will.
But from a marketing perspective, I actually picked Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman is a guy that has that gab, like how he talks trash and all that type of stuff. So
don't duck me, son.
Don't duck me, son. or that.
Well, that's the old Keith Thurman on. That's the old Keith Thurman, man. The new Keith Thurman's playing a flute out there on the grassy knoll.
No, but
not the grassy knoll.
Oh man.
Hey, wait, yo, but this is the Keith Thurman that had that face to face with Manny Pacquiao talking about or he still has a little bit of that. So I think if Terrence Crawford fought Keith Thurman, and showed out against Keith Thurman, then that would have people be like, whoa, Terrence Crawford did that to Keith Thurman? Because think about it. Keith Thurman only has one loss. Yeah. And while he's been knocked down, he's never been stopped. So what if Terrence Crawford was able to actually stop or knock out Keith Thurman? Then you would have a lot of, more interest towards Terrence Crawford as far as like him going to the negotiating table too, and Errol Spence and being like, look, this is what I did to Keith Thurman. And the thing is, Errol Spence hasn't fought Keith Thurman either. So he'll be able to get the Keith before Errol does.
That's interesting you say that because all of those options are viable for Terrence Crawford. Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, and even Ugas. The reason why Ugas is viable is because Ugas is a wild card. He's that dude that's a problem for. He almost messed. Well, I thought he won that fight, but he almost messed up
Sean Porter.
Yeah, Sean
Porter.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, man. I thought he won. I thought he won that fight because Porter was trying to his credit, he was trying to implement a new portion of his game. Okay, which worked out good for him because when he fought Earl Spence, we saw he was more effective against Spence than he was against Ugas doing that. Because even Earl told him, "You fight me like you fight Ugas, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out." And by that time, he was going to his second training camp with that, so it was better for him. But I thought Ugas won that fight. But Ugas clearly is a problem, for anybody that he faced. And because a lot of people felt he beat Sean Porter, I think if Crawford fights him, that boosts his profile. Remember, Crawford once upon a time was supposed to fight Felix Diaz, but instead they gave him John Molina Jr. And Crawford heard people talking about, man, you ducking Felix Diaz. And he's like, no, give me that Felix Diaz fight. And that boosted him because Felix Diaz arguably beat Lamont Peterson. People thought he beat Lamont Peterson.
He did beat
he beat Lamont Peterson. Yeah, man.
Okay, right. So I think that's good. Sean Porter is definitely good because he's a tough fight. I don't care who you are. After the performance against Earl Spence Jr., he is a tough fight. You got to literally hit this motherfucker with a center lock brick. You got to. You got to hit Sean Porter with something that's not from this world. You know what I'm saying? So Sean Porter is a tough fight. He's gonna make you fight. He's gonna bring it. So if you fight Sean Porter, that boosts Sean Porter profile got boosted more in defeat than Terrence Crawford's profile in victory when Crawford fought that Uzi Diaz cat.
But
Sean Porter's profile was higher. Does he really?
Yeah,
because
he does.
Here's the thing about Keith is a good fight too because he fought a future Hall of Famer. His only loss was to a future Hall of Famer. You're not diminished when you lose to the best. Canelo Alvarez is living proof of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you lose to the best, you're not diminished, right? So Keith lost to a future Hall of Famer, and after getting knocked down, he looked good. I'm not gonna say he got whitewashed.
Right.
Some people
he looked good.
He got washed, and I'm like, what the fuck do y'all be watching?
Man, that was
man.
That was like one of the best fights of the year.
Yeah. So I like all of those fights for Terrence Crawford. I think any of those fights boosts his Crawford profile because if you look at the WBO rankings, what Sergio Lipinets? Nah. They got some dude who's the WBO African champion. Well, nah, get him the fuck out of here. Nah, hell no. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at the rankings, man, Ugas Diaz Kaliakis? Nah, dog, that dude didn't do nothing for a mean machine. Hell, he looked at bad in the fight prior to fighting Crawford.
So for
me,
any of those
names boost his profile.
He lost that fight.
Yeah, Ray Robinson. That's it. Ray Robinson.
Yeah. He lost Ray Robinson.
He looked at bad in that Ray Robinson. Right. So any of those names boosts his profile because Ugas, if I'm not mistaken, he's still I don't know where he is, but I think he's still a top 10 rated welterweight right now. I don't know where he's ranked at, but I know he's top 10. He's in the top 10. So that'll always help. Virgil Ortiz, Oscar De La Hoya not going to give him Virgil Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to do that. He's trying to be Virgil Ortiz profile. And Virgil Ortiz has a higher profile than Terrence Crawford simply because he got that De La Hoya machine behind him. So at the end of the day for me, Terrence Crawford's biggest mistake was re-signing with Ryan. However, I understand why he did it. when you're trying to build a legacy, and I'm gonna quote my man 2K for this. When you're trying to build a legacy, you have to go along with the. You have to go along with I guess I want to say promotion that has the forces in the vision that you're trying to get.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So, but I supposedly Manny Pacquiao and them are in negotiations to fight. Now, if Crawford get the Manny Pacquiao before Earl Spence, that'll hold a hell of a lot more weight than Earl Spence being unified champion in my opinion. Because not only will Crawford be unified, but he'll have beat future Hall of Fame. When you say negotiation to those accolades, people like to think money. Accolades. I mean, money plays a factor. But if a guy has a high accolade, beating Manny Pacquiao, you can't come to. If I beat Manny Pacquiao, don't come to him talking about some money. Well, look how much money. No, I don't want to hear that. You know. But yeah, Crawford's gonna have to do something. I agree with him.
Yeah.
Yo, this the thing though. If he gets Manny Pacquiao, right? Does that show a sign that Al wants Crawford versus Spence soon?
I think if he gets Manny Pacquiao, what is lined up for is and I've said this is definitely going to be this generation's Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns. Getting Manny Pacquiao is huge to Crawford because he fights Manny Pacquiao, like you say, the people, and that's a guy that he wanted to fight back. Manny Pacquiao roasted him like that. Right? So you beat Manny Pacquiao, you beat him. You also grabbed the WBA Super Championship title. The conversation started at 55, 45. Right away.
You bring it up, bro.
Manny Pacquiao I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Oh man, damn! Just when he had it. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you can be back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
bro.
Dang.
This is everybody using the internet. I wanted to see what point he was going to make. I say Keith based off of the numbers. Keith always does well in every fight. It's like he did 16,000 at the Barclays against Danny Garcia. He did like 11, 12,000 against Sean Porter. Over 10,000 in Vegas. 500,000. 500,000 in the
or pay-per-views for
pay-per-view.
Yeah,
it was Pacquiao.
So I mean, I'm with the thing for Thurman against Crawford. I mean, I'm not too certain of this, but I picked Thurman because if it's not Pacquiao, I think Thurman, from a marketing perspective, moves the needle more than any other fighter that Crawford could possibly face. So if it's not a Danny Garcia or something like that, then it has to be Keith Thurman. I mean, right now, let me see what I'm going through this Premier Boxing Organization rankings top 10. And you got Spence, then Crawford, then Pacquiao, then Porter, Thurman, Danny Garcia, Mike Garcia, your Dennis Ugas, Jesse Vargas. What the heck? Chris Van Heerden? What? Hold on. Wait a minute. So, wait, they got Chris Van Heerden as number 10.
Big Chris, man.
Oh man, that got me, man. I didn't expect that, man. I did not expect that. Oh goodness. So, I mean, that's the thing with Terrence Crawford is like he needs a fight that moves the needle in that instance, and I think that Keith Thurman is that is that person.
Okay, let me ask you a question. All right.
Hmm.
Omar Figueroa Jr. You go Bo's back. So now you got me looking at the rankings, right?
Yeah, I
So
had another set too, but
so you got these are all the guys that's outside of the top 10. You got Khan, no good. You got Maurice Hooker, that's an in-camp guy. You got Sergey Lipinets, that's not really going to sell, but he'll fight Bud. You got the mandatory to Earl Spence for the IBF. I can't pronounce the kid's name.
Kujutio?
Yeah. You got Jamal James. You got Omar Figueroa. You got
Is it
Virgil
this Earl Spence we talking about?
We talking about possible opponents for Bud.
Oh, okay then. Yeah. Because if you look at the WBO rankings, I saw those rankings. The WBO rankings, the first four fights, first five fights I don't see happening. Because I think you got Hooker and Regis Prograis, they're supposed to be fighting each other once this pandemic is over.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. You said for WBO rankings?
Yeah, WBO 147. I remember this. I was looking at it the other day. Regis Prograis and Hooker are 4 and 5 or something like that. And because Danny Garcia is number 1, I think Mikey Garcia is number 2, and Virgil Ortiz is number 3.
What do you think about Bud versus Mikey?
That's not gonna happen.
And
Mikey's not gonna take that fight.
He won't take it. I mean, he's looking for those money fights, but Terrence Crawford, nah, he's not gonna do that one.
No.
Now that we got Bo, and I want to ask you a question, right? So we have the top guys at 147 now, right?
Okay.
But let's look ahead 5 years, right? Who would you say is going to be the top 147 pounders of the future? And you can even project growth as far as guys moving up in weight. We've been watching enough boxing where we can see if a guy's going to fill out to 147 or not.
Devin Haney, if he's not already at 154 in 5 years.
Okay,
that's good. That's good. I got a couple. I think whoever wins between Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor will be a top guy at 147. I think Jerome Boots Enos and my man Rashidi Ellis is going to be a huge problem at 147.
Yeah.
I agree with you about Devin Haney also. But I also think Ryan Garcia, depending on how they move him, he could be a problem at 147. So there's quite a few, but I think if I had the guy to me who I would keep my eye on right now in 5 years, because is definitely the two guys I would keep my eye on is Jerome Boots Enos and Rashidi Ellis, man. Rashidi Ellis is living proof why when Earl Spence told Oscar De La Hoya, you don't know how to promote black fighters. Rashidi Ellis is the embodiment of that fucking statement.
True. I don't know why Rashidi Ellis went that route. It doesn't make sense, but who knows? For me, I got the guys that you named, your Virgil Ortiz, your Boots, your Rashidi Ellis, and then I got Josh Kelly.
Josh Kelly or Taylor?
Yeah. Josh Kelly.
Oh no, hell no.
I think Josh Kelly is going to be a top guy.
No, man. Josh Kelly almost got his ass beat by what's that dude name?
True, but he did the same thing to Mean Machine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He's Ray Robertson is one of those guys that you're not going to look good against him.
Yeah, you're not.
I got another kid for you, a former Olympian, Paul Crawl. He's another one. He's Earl Spence. He's an orthodox Earl Spence. So the 147-pound division is still like it's like watching Floyd versus Pac-Man and seeing Keith, Earl Spence, and Terrence Crawford at the lower weights coming up. Like you already see that it's going to be stacked once again, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the 147-pound division historically has been the workhorse of boxing. Of course, the heavyweight division has always been the biggest money making division in all of boxing. But historically, if you look at the welterweight division historically, that has been the workhorse, the bread and butter, so to speak, that has carried boxing. Even when you had the heavyweight division wasn't popping, the 147-pound division was always carrying the sport, man.
Yeah. I can only imagine what it was like watching like the Four Kings live. Like, Bo, that's jealousy. I'm jealous of that. I'm jealous of that.
Yeah, man. You know, I got a chance to see the Three Kings, man. Hagler, Hearns, and Duran. I don't acknowledge that motherfucker that ducked Aaron Pryor. I don't acknowledge him.
Oh man. You don't acknowledge the Sugar Man?
I don't acknowledge that dude
Sugar
that ducked
Man,
Aaron
yo.
Pryor, dog. I don't acknowledge the guy that ducked Aaron Pryor, dog. You know what I'm saying? You know.
The Sugar Man.
Yeah. No, you know what? You know
Sugar
what?
Man beat all them motherfuckers that all the rest of them kings. The Sugar
Hold
Man got them all.
on. Wait a minute, dog. I believe Duran beat him though. I think Duran beat him though, right?
True, it's no way you coming out of that unscathed. People can talk that Floyd Mayweather stuff all they want to. Floyd's losing to one of them niggas. Trust me.
To one of those guys.
To at least one of them four. Oh, he taking the L. And I know who would give it to him. Tommy would definitely give it to him.
Oh, you think Tommy Hitman Hearns beat Floyd?
I think Tommy Hitman Hearns either does two things: knock Floyd flat out or wide UD.
That's a tall order right there you talking about, man. Let me say.
That's a tall man.
Yeah, but Tommy had a propensity of getting lured into firefights. The thing about, okay, which Floyd are we talking about? We talking about Pretty Boy or Money May?
We're talking about 147, so
it don't matter. Floyd doesn't possess the ability to capitalize on Tommy's weakness.
I don't know. I think you're wrong there. I think you're wrong. No, I think you're wrong there. Here's the thing, and I like conversations like this because they're always good. Like, you can't turn back the clock, and it's conversations like this that will prove how a person's boxing knowledge is. And mind you, this is just people's opinion. I think when you look at if we're talking 147, I think my man Source just said it. You're talking Money May, right?
Okay, so where would you say Pretty Boy ended? Gotti?
That's what I kind of like pointed to.
Yeah, I think actually to me, Pretty Boy ended when he beat Oscar, and that was what, 154. Oscar made the dude go up to 154. Yeah, that's when Pretty Boy ended. But I think the thing about Floyd, and this is why it's hard to say exactly what beats him because he has a way of adapting in real time. Now you can say what gives him problems. Floyd Mayweather's biggest problem is the jab. That's the reason why I think they never looked at Winky Wright seriously, because of that goddamn jab. I would have loved to have seen that. But I think when it comes to Tommy Hearns, he has an ability sometimes, man, to let you get on the inside, mind you. And although Marvin Hagler is bigger than Floyd, but Marvin Hagler, once he got it together, he was able to get inside that jab. Floyd Mayweather has better defense. Tommy Hearns, sometimes, if you watch his fights, he would go back with his hands down. Sometimes he wasn't always keeping the hands up, so he would go back with his hands down. So you can catch him and you can clip him. I think Floyd's defense ability. I think Floyd's and then too, at one point in time when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he had pretty good hand speed. So I like the fight. I think the one thing you are right about is this: that reach of Tommy Hearns will be a problem.
I don't see, Bo. I can see Floyd getting on the inside because he has great defense. But what you gonna do when you get there? Can you really hurt him? Can you really hurt Tommy?
Yes, you can.
No. I'm talking about Can Floyd really hurt Tommy? I'm not sure. Sure. Ray Leonard's not walking through them doors. Ray Barkley ain't walking through them doors.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing, though, man. Floyd is people. A lot of people forget. The thing about Floyd is he has power. He don't have that. Like, there's certain degrees of power. There's that, there's that power where, okay, I felt that. Then there's that power where, man, you know what? I don't want to be hit by that no more. Then there's that Deontay Wilder shit.
Yeah.
All right, that's just elite level, right? Well, Floyd has that. I don't want to get hit by that no more power, because ain't nobody just walking him down. Ain't nobody like people talking about something he's feather fist and all that. No,
No, he's not.
Right, but what adds to his power is he's extremely accurate.
Yeah.
And accurate punches will always hurt more than a person just throwing with everything he has. So I think Floyd would think about this, because although he's a little bit taller and rangier, I thought Diego Corrales was going to give Floyd a hard time because he was taller with the longer arm reach. Well, we saw how Floyd did in that fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
That's 3 inches smaller and a lot less talent. Like, I'm not saying Floyd don't got no power. I'm not one of those guys.
Well,
Floyd is a very, very sharp puncher.
Right.
He has good, decent power. I'm just saying, can he hurt the much bigger man?
Yeah.
I don't think Floyd got that kind of power where he can hurt the much bigger, very fast, very hard punching.
Well, that's the thing I'm trying to say. He don't have to hurt him. He just got to hit him with something that'll make him be like, damn, I don't want to be hit by that again. That's all he has to do.
Yeah, the thing with Floyd, and like Bo said, it is the accuracy, but it's also the timing too, because he could hit you with like a lead right and be fairly quick with that lead right that'll temporarily stun you, and then by the time you reset, he's at another spot. Because they had the what it was the Carlos Baldomir fight where he kind of I think he hit Baldomir with the lead right like 3 times in a row, and each time they hit him with that lead right, he was out of the range of Carlos Baldomir. So the thing with Floyd Mayweather is he timed a lot of his punches. He was very accurate, and he timed his punches so that once he went in with that lead right, by the time that he pulled that lead right back, he'll see what you have coming back for him and be able to react with a defense, or come right back at you with another punch. So I mean, for me with Floyd against somebody like Tommy Hearns is that he'll figure out he's like one of the best in-fight adjustment fighters that are out there. So he would make the adjustments against someone like a Tommy Hearns who, would be very active with his hands, but if you know how to figure that out and time him, then he would, like I said, Floyd make those adjustments. I don't think that.
Okay, so let me ask you this, JR. Right?
Yep.
Okay, so Floyd is giving up 4 inches in height, 6 inches in reach, to possibly the biggest puncher at that weight, maybe ever. Really fast, really big punching guy who fought better competition, beat better competition. Are you telling me that you could just say, yeah, Floyd beat him?
Yeah, I can, because Floyd. The thing with Floyd is he is one of the most prepared fighters that we've seen. Like straight up, he trains like no other fighter that we've seen, and he prepares for his opponent
against
no other fighter.
Against who?
He's ever seen. So here's my thing with Hearns, though, right?
Can you answer that for me? I said, can you answer that for me? Just real fast. Against who?
We're talking about Hearns?
No, I'm talking about Floyd. Like, there's no disrespect, but I'm a new age guy.
Okay.
Against who?
You talking about Floyd? You talking about what Floyd did against who, or what are you saying?
Yeah, he's saying he can prepare, he can make these kind of adjustments and this and that, and I get it. He's he's one of the best fighters I've ever seen. He's in my top 10. But against who?
Like the likes of a Shane Mosley, or
again,
Judah.
Again, I'm going to ask you, against who?
Well, he can only fight the guys. He can only fight the guys around.
Yeah, he only can fight. He only can fight the guys.
Right.
But
So he can only fight the guys around him.
It's not like it's Michael Jordan. I don't went through Isaiah Thomas. I don't went through Magic Johnson. You know.
But he went through the guys. He went through the guys of this era. He went through the Angel Manfredi.
Yeah, he went through the guys of his era.
Emmanuel Augustus. He went through the
level
Mitchells and the Philip Ndu.
Yeah, the level of talent isn't there.
Yeah.
Not in comparison to your era.
To who?
In comparison to your era, it's not even close.
Dude, Tommy, the only top guy Tommy Hearns beat was Roberto Duran. He lost to Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard.
You're right. And Roberto Duran is better than anybody Floyd's ever faced.
Because no, not necessarily. You can't, not necessarily, because we're talking about we're talking about across eras, right? So if we're talking about across eras, you can only fight the guys that's in your era, right?
Yeah, but I said right now it's an
era in Floyd's era, right?
Yes.
He had Diego Corrales. So his Diego Corrales is the equivalency of what a Roberto Duran would be, because that was the top dude then, and Diego Corrales was the top dude during Floyd's era.
You missed my point. My point is you saying that he can make all these kind of adjustments and he finds a way to beat guys. And I'm saying, yeah, he does. He found a way to beat the guys in his era, right?
Right.
But we all know for as good as Jerry West is, Jerry West ain't LeBron James. He's not. Yeah, he dominated his era.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes your era could be devoid of top tier talent.
Well, shit, LeBron James' era was devoid of top 10 talent. I just
picked the name. I picked the name with ability.
No, I'm just saying who. Okay, wait a minute, because I've had this argument before, right? Who was LeBron James' rival in the motherfucking East? Because when Julius Erving and all them guys was in the East, there was rivals that was there. But I get what you're saying, but the thing of it is we can only judge who he fights of his era.
Yes.
And based off how he fight and who he fought of his era, right? Because what you're trying to say is, okay, each era, like this era of heavyweights is not like the previous era of heavyweights as far as toughness, but you can only fight the guys of that era.
Yeah, so let me project. Oh, yeah. Deontay Wilder would knock out before this Tyson Fury fight, Deontay Wilder would knock out everybody because he's knocked out everybody. No.
Well,
I can't do that.
But if you ask me, are there guys of the old era that I think Deontay Wilder would beat? The answer will probably be yes.
Yeah,
there are some guys of the right. So that's what I'm saying. So if I look at the top dudes of Floyd's era that he fought, okay, regardless of whether or not it's diluted or not, you still fight and you beat those top dudes. So the fact that he was able to show me he was a level above them, when you make an assessment of what he would do against a guy like Tommy Hearns, that's a plausible assessment that I agree with Source with. Is okay, he was able to do it against these guys and show me he was a level above. So I'm looking at Tommy Hearns because, like I said, when I look at that era of Hearns, the only top dude he beat was Roberto Duran.
Just because you did it against DeMar DeRozan doesn't mean you can do it against Mike.
Just because you did it against who?
But
it doesn't mean you can do it against Mike. That's my point.
Here's the thing, though.
Just because Spence, if Spence beats Bud, just because you can beat Bud, don't mean you can beat Floyd. No.
No, but
there's levels to this.
But here's the thing.
Go ahead.
With Floyd, look at the amount of potential Hall of Famers or actual Hall of Famers that are on his resume. So he has that within his,
So does Canelo. So does Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo Alvarez still hasn't. His career is not over yet. And he's 15 years old.
Did he beat them at their best?
Did Floyd? Hold on. Okay, so let me ask you this then: did Floyd beat these guys at their best?
Not everybody.
Like who? Talking about Joel Casamayor, the Cuban that didn't want to fight him, Joaquin Fuentes, the Brazilian that didn't want to fight him.
No, I'm talking about the guy. I'm talking about the guys that he fought.
He actually beat.
Everybody wasn't at their best.
Shane Mosley.
Shane Mosley wasn't at his best.
Shane Mosley was a world champion. He had just beat him.
He stopped Antonio Margarito.
He wasn't at his best.
He was a world champion. Yeah, he was a world champion. Yes, he was at his best. What do you mean he wasn't at his best? How do you think he wasn't at his best? He was a world champion. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Here's what
When Mosley was at his best, he talking about some chipped damn tooth is what kept him from fighting Floyd.
You're damn right. He ducked it. I'm not telling you he didn't duck it. I'm just saying when he beat him, he wasn't at his best.
But when you are a world champion, listen, Shane Mosley became a world champion. So I mean, go ahead. So
I kind of feel what Jamil is saying when he's talking about Shane Mosley, because for me, Shane Mosley was at his best when he was at 135. But even then, business kind of prevented that particular fight happening at 135 anyway. So, I mean, Floyd could only fight many of these guys at the time that he actually fought them because of business.
A lot of them dudes ducked him before he became the cash cow boxing. I'm not disputing it. I'm not one of them guys that's just going to hate on him. I'm just saying his era wasn't as talented as other eras.
Well, I mean, no era.
It's like I equate Floyd to being the Larry Holmes of the That's how I see him, yo. That's how I see him. Floyd is the Larry Holmes of the welterweight division.
But hold on.
You were great. I'm not disputing that. But you came around in a time where it wasn't great. Like, okay, do you think Larry Holmes does that in the Holyfield Tyson era?
But you can't hold on. So what you trying to say? Larry Holmes had a weak era?
I didn't think the era wasn't as strong as the Ali Frazier, and it wasn't as strong as the Bowen Holyfield.
No, see, the reason why I disagree with that is because Larry Holmes unfortunately for Larry Holmes, he came along right after the Muhammad Ali era, which is the greatest of all time. That was going to be tough for anybody to freaking do. That was going to be tough for anybody to do, because when I'm looking at guys, and I'm just shooting off my brain here, right? Okay, but when I'm looking at the Trevor Burbicks, the Spinks, the Cobbs, I think he fought Witherspoon. Shit, who else did he fought? Schaefer, Norton, Weaver. Those names? Come on, man.
Is that better than Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Rick Bowe, Evander Holyfield, Michael Moore?
Okay, hold on. Go ahead.
But here's the thing about that particular era that you talk about with the 90s, right? Not all of those guys fought each other. Like Lennox Lewis fought, Evander Holyfield.
Don't start.
We went through.
We'll go into Lennox for hours.
Because if we're gonna do that, then I'm finna talk about the fact that how Tyson didn't fight David Tuitt, George Foreman, Ray Mercer. I'm gonna start throwing some shit out there.
I'm just talking about the overall talent of around that time was better than
No, I disagree.
I think it was. JR, what do you think? Do you think the talent was better?
For me?
Yeah.
Do you think in Holmes' era was the talented heavyweight better than when you said Lennox Lewis and them?
Yeah. Holyfield, Bowe, Tyson, Lewis,
Moore, Douglas.
Yeah.
Who else? Shoot. Ferguson. Wait, who's it? Ferguson?
You had a bunch of wannabes too. You had Michael Grant, Galata.
Yeah, Jesse Ferguson. Yeah, man.
Dog, it's on par. It's on par to me, because I think for me, because I was my old ass was around. So for me, I remember what each one of those guys did and what the fight brought. I remember when he fought Cooney, how big that was. So so like Mike Weaver and Trevor Burbick and all of them. So I just remember that. But so then, if what you're saying is true, then you got to admit that this era heavyweights, do we credit these heavyweights for what they've done? Because this era heavyweights is definitely weaker than that era, the Lennox Bows.
I'm saying you have to give everybody credit for dominating the era. You said, you're only born in the era that you're born in, right?
Right.
But we can all look objectively like, okay, this era had more talent, that era had more talent. It just seems to
I
be
can do
some guys benefited from being in a strong era, and some guys benefited from being in a weak era. But now that we're on the heavyweight division, I got something that I want to talk to y'all about that's frustrating me. These Mike Tyson fans, man.
Hey, hold on, man. Hold on, dog.
Here we
Hold on,
go,
dog.
baby.
These old, hey, us old niggas coming back. Ha, 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 ha. Ooh. Oh, walk it off. Ooh, walk it off.
Yo, after 2 8-second clips, all of a sudden he can knock out everybody in the heavyweight division. Come on, man.
Yo.
Listen, man, Mike Tyson got knocked out by Kevin McBride. That was it for me.
Exactly.
Like,
Wasn't that like 15 years ago?
15 plus years ago, man.
He got knocked out by Danny Williams. Am I supposed to forget that? Because I see a clip of him hitting the pads.
I never forget him being beat by Danny Williams, man. Like, never.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like.
People like, yeah, Deontay Wilder's next. Tyson Fury better watch out. What the whoa?
Dude,
what are we doing?
Like, I'm having guys like asking me like, how would he do against the top 20 heavyweights? Like, he would be like
Tyson Fury would get knocked out by Junior Fa.
You said Mike Tyson or Tyson Fury?
No, not Tyson Fury. I'm sorry. Not Tyson Fury. I'm talking Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Dylan White.
Tony Yoka. Tony Yoka. Yoka and them two. Yeah, man.
Like freaking Carlos Takam.
Carlos Takam. Huggy Fury might give him a go for his money. You know what I'm saying?
Huggy Fury.
Huggy Fury might give him a go for his money. No.
Yo, he gave out a strong 8-second clip, and the world lost their minds. They're like, oh, Mike's back. He's back.
He did that. He did that first video. He released it on his Twitter page on May 1st, and I said, like, at the time, 2 days after, that thing had 8.5 million views on there. And then what has it been, like a couple days ago? He puts in another compilation video, and at the end of it says, "I'm back." And oh man, like
he's still. It's 3 fighters that I feel like just captivated boxing: Ali, Tyson, Floyd. There'll never be like them 3, man. They move the needle. They can stop the world.
Hey, you know what, man? Like, shoot, you got Mike Tyson doing 8-second videos. You got freaking, the thing with the Chicago Bulls of the '90s. Like, what's that? Something with Bo Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, come on. But it's I like talk with Jamil about this. Is like at this particular point with Mike Tyson, it's like it seems like he feels that he's incomplete without like doing something in the boxing ring. Because I mean, right now, like, what has it been the past 5 years or so? He's had, the thing with the whole cartoon series being a big hit. He has his podcast is doing very well. He has the thing with the, was it the Weed Garden and all of that doing, what he's doing. And even with all of that, he still has those moments where he's like, something's missing. I'm still depressed. I'm doing all of this, but I'm still depressed. So it's like, what else is out there for him to do for him to feel like he needs to be complete? And he kind of like talked about the whole thing with Floyd Mayweather being a trainer, and he said like he doesn't necessarily, have the whole patience to be a trainer. So what else is out there for him? It's, actually being in the ring, whether it's exhibition or not. And so
I feel you, Jay. You don't gotta be a trainer to help fighters in the gym.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. But I mean, it's like, but you know, Mike Tyson talked about it. He said, like he doesn't have that full patience to like try to work with a fighter or an aspiring fighter. He said he doesn't have it within him. So it's like, okay, then what else is out there for me? Actually getting in the ring, whether it's exhibition or not. And when you have this type of craze happening now in this social media age, where because of that video, 8-second video being played almost 10 million times or whatever it is, you have companies offering up to 20 million.
Yo, that was crazy.
Like, come on. Like, like if they're offering them 20 million, shoot. Whether it's for 20 seconds or 2 minutes, he'll try to do something enough at 53 years old for him to get that $20 million. And I know people that'll step up to fight him for a piece of that purse. So he's had those things with Shannon Briggs. I'll see if I can hit him up again. I don't know if I'm gonna do it tomorrow or Thursday, but Shannon Briggs talking about doing some type of tag team match.
Yes. Oh, man.
Like, like I don't know, man, but there's it for me. I think it's gonna end up being an exhibition match between Tyson and Holyfield because they're good friends and they want to help out, help each other out, whenever possible. So I think that's what's going to end up happening since, Evander Holyfield came out with a video himself.
Oh, that video by Evander Holyfield was sad, man. It was
He came out with a video.
That was sad. Evander Holyfield, and my man said this. Evander Holyfield looked like he had just got over the coronavirus 12 hours ago. That was sad, man.
Oh no! Oh goodness, man!
Yeah, he's like, yo, he stayed too long. Whereas though I feel like Mike got out at the right time.
Yeah. Well, it was money. It was money is the reason why Holyfield stayed around in the sport.
All them kids, man.
Kids.
He would like to tell you, I wanted to be, I wanted to be an undisputed champ. No. It had nothing to do with it, man.
Nah, yeah, he was just so far behind in money, so that was like his best way to do it.
That's why I'm glad dudes like Andre Ward, like he found that gig right after, and now he's into managing fighters. So he's still around boxing, so you get that fix.
Yep.
But you're not, into boxing. You're not getting hit. So I feel like maybe training and promoting that'll do Floyd good because now it should be going. Like you're in the gym every day. Now you're working to help someone toward their dream. So it's a different motivation.
Yeah, that's kind of
there's nothing left for Floyd to do. Like who's there to beat?
Yeah, who's there to beat?
You did it all. You did it all.
Well, you gotta understand, man, that competitive nature that fighters have coupled with I think every athlete has a competitive nature, like I say, I'm old and I'm still competitive, I want to be, I think, if me and my son play the jump down the steps game, well, shit, I'm gonna go fuck the steps. I'm gonna climb the roof and jump off it. Show me you can do that, little nigga. You know what I'm saying? I think that competitive nature is there, but when you couple that with the glory, the fame, the money, the women, when you couple it with that is the biggest drug for athletes. You see what I'm saying? That money, that fame, because mind you, Mike Tyson was a guy wherever he went, man. He was bigger. He was like the Beatles of boxing. You know?
Yeah.
See, and when you have the same thing with Michael Jordan, that's why he struggled. When you have that where everywhere you go. Like when it's happening to you, you don't like it. But when it's not happening for some reason, you miss it. You know what I'm saying? It's still like that big booty chick. You know, when you with it, you glad you hitting it, and you be like, man, why am I with this chick? But when she leave, you be like, you be scrolling through your phone, that roller deck, like, and you be looking at her number, like, damn, man,
damn,
yeah, I want to call her, but the
Yo,
bitch
the
talk
big
too
booty,
much. Yeah,
the big booty crazy John. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I got a question for y'all too, right?
What you got,
At
man?
their peak, who was more popular, or who was bigger? Because popularity could be seen as love and hate. Who was bigger? Mike, Floyd.
Mike
Was bigger. Floyd, Mike was bigger. Floyd just made more money. Floyd,
I agree.
You know,
Yeah,
Mike was definitely bigger, dog. Mike Tyson couldn't go no damn where.
nowhere.
Nowhere. You know,
I've
Floyd
never
was more,
seen anything like that. Like Mike Tyson, I've never seen anything like that.
shit. I did, and Ali couldn't go no. Ali walked down the block, didn't make
Oh
it.
my goodness,
Yeah?
Man, yeah. Ali walked down the block one time. He had been out of boxing for about 2 years, and this is a true story. A guy made a bet with him about, he's not fighting people that forgot him. Ali bet the guy. He said, okay, I guarantee you, before I make it down the block, there'll be, a certain number of people around. You gotta bet him. Ali get out the car. Ali didn't get 3 houses. The whole thing. Yeah, I actually saw that with Ali.
like, listen.
Why would dude make that bet? That's the champ, man.
Well, no. At that time, Ali hadn't fought. He was out of boxing.
Yeah, I know, but that's the champ. Like, I don't care. You don't care if he loses. He's the champ, bro.
I'm so great that I'll be out of the game 10 years, and 500 people will still flock to me.
Yo, that's a good Ali voice, yo.
That's a good Ali voice.
Like, I remember watching the guy, Vietnam vet, was about to commit suicide, and Ali was, I guess he was in the area. He runs across and talks to dude now. It was like that dude was a superhero. And like
Ali was, think about what he did when he like, remind you, they didn't like him when he was fighting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And in reality, they only liked him because he was the thing that made Ali what he was when he joined the Nation of Muslim. At that time, the Nation of Muslim was deemed to be anti-white and extremely pro-black. Like, people didn't know how to categorize, the Muslim. They were deemed as being evil and all of that, right? So Ali joins him. He changed his name. He's pro-black. He didn't want to join the military, so he became public enemy number one. It wasn't that Joe Frazier beat him. This is the reason why I say people people still hate Floyd and they hate Andre Ward, because once he got beat, that thirst of hate was satisfied. Yeah, he got his ass. I'm good now.
Yeah.
Now I can look and like him. Because think about what everybody said when he lost. They said, when he got up from being knocked down by Joe Frazier, I said, I don't like the guy, but the son of a bitch got a lot of heart. Well, it took him to get an ass one for them to think that. They really appreciate him after he left.
Yep.
Because he took that L. And the reason why I look at how people don't like Floyd and Andre Ward, them niggas ain't take an L.
Yep. And I had made a meme with Floyd Mayweather in the background, and my tag was like, everyone's a hater until you lose. And that's pretty much, that's pretty much it.
That's actually.
So that means you're gonna love Deontay Wilder again?
Hey, Bo, hey, Bo, I've been labeled as the biggest Deontay Wilder hater in the planet.
I think the thing with Deontay Wilder is, what makes you hate Deontay Wilder isn't Deontay itself, but it's his fans that make you not like. Kind of like Gennady Golovkin. I didn't have any problem with Gennady Golovkin. Those Golovkin fans I couldn't stand, man.
Nah, the fears that make me not like Gennady Golovkin is Gennady Golovkin that makes me want
Yo,
Gennady
he's the
Golovkin.
biggest Triple G hater. If he sees Triple G or the Charlos, he might swing on him. Yo, this is real life.
I can understand the Charlos. Well, it depends because the one at 154, I like his attitude. He wants to fight.
What are you saying? I want to fight. I don't know what you're talking about. You better check the numbers.
You better go check the numbers, man.
You better check the numbers, folks. You better check the numbers.
You a damn lie. You better go check the numbers.
Yeah, man, listen.
Yo, they some angry dudes, yo.
Yeah, man.
Well, that's because they're trying to play the villain. And I mean, if we keep it real and be honest, that's boxing. There's a thing where you have to be the bad guy in boxing. If you black, you got to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing with, I talk about it with Wilder is that they kind of try to make him out to be like a bad guy, but he's not really that type of guy.
Yeah, they should have left it alone.
Yeah, because I don't think he's ever really been comfortable being that.
No, it seems so forced.
Yeah, so it's like when he struggles to do that, it's like why y'all keeping, trying to keep him like that? I mean, yeah, the whole thing about being marketed as a bad guy can sell, but if it's not, working overall like that, then don't do it. Like all you got to do is just say, "Hey, he's knocking out everybody." You couldn't make him like another Mike on his way up.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, you had to, turn him into like a bronze bomber and say that he does this and does that. Like, nah, you don't need to do that. But
no, because the thing was, remember when he was with De La Hoya, he was being presented as a nice guy.
Yeah,
a
nice
guy that was
guy.
fighting.
Yeah,
He was presented as a guy who was fighting for his
yeah,
daughter.
for his daughter. Yeah.
So he leaves whatever reason he leaves De La Hoya, and they change that up, and everybody like, wait a minute, man, that's not who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, man.
But
Listen, man, I blame it on pussy, man. Look, the dude start, seriously, man. Seriously, dog. He got with the girl. Hey, listen, I don't knock no man, but he started wearing a man weave, and remember he got the weave, he had the man weave, and then he had the skirt on. Like, Deontay, what happened, dog?
what happened, dog?
Oh man, y'all dudes.
Yeah, he let his hair grow, dog. Remember he had the fade and everything.
He had the fade. Like, I seen him. Yeah, I saw him with the
one or
fade or
two
whatever.
tattoos, man, dog. You know what I'm saying? He got with that bad chick. You know what I'm saying? She put that, she put that mama jama on him. Because and that was it, dog. Like Deontay, you know what I'm saying? She Erica Badu with that nigga. I remember Erica Badu used to do all them cats.
Or it could have been them Al Heyman checks, man.
Yeah, it could have been.
Al Heyman checks. Because like, Bo, and you pointed this out to me. You said all the people that criticize him for not fighting Dillian White, he made like 50 something, like 40 to 50 million in like a 3-fight span, something crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Let's see. Because he had to have that 20 million guarantee for Brazil.
No, that was Ortiz.
Or he got 24 Ortiz. Okay.
24 Ortiz, 25 for
Fury.
For Fury, and 10, a guaranteed 10 or 12 for Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that's still, good 55, 55 mil or so right there. So, and then he had around 14 for that first Fury fight. Well, that's what they said. So,
yeah, plus revenue, right?
Yeah.
He had that plus revenue.
But back in 2016, even in 2016, like Deontay Wilder wasn't really, that full bronze bomber type guy because he was still, guy that would you be approachable and that type of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know what happened, man.
Yeah, man. So he tried to take on that bad guy persona, and listen, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it. Like Floyd, when Floyd took on that persona, he went all the way with it.
Yeah.
And Floyd wasn't playing. Floyd was slapping bitches and everything. He was Floyd wasn't playing. He wasn't playing. Floyd went deep with it, dog. He like, I'm a character. He was slapping.
Yeah.
This the thing though. Floyd didn't realize that the bad guy persona worked until going to WWE. And Vince McMahon sat him down and showed him the difference in Hulk Hogan's money when he was Hulkamania Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And then when he was Hollywood Hulk Hogan. When he turned bad, his money went through the roof. And after that, Floyd was like, bet.
If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, those guys over at
Yeah, man. So
almost makes me think of that voiceover with LeBron James talking about if it wasn't for LeBron James, Dan Gilbert would be still selling meat in a truck in Minneapolis.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's man. Y'all are wrong for that.
That's cold.
Real cold.
That's cold, yo.
That's real cold. I mean, you can make the case it's true, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can.
Yo, bro, the Cavs stink, man. They stink. But yo, is there any topic that y'all want to talk about? Like anything that's on your mind before we head out?
yeah, you know what, man. I definitely want to talk about how when box, I think a lot of guys, boxing fans are relatively they're dumb. I hate to say that, right? Boxing fans are relatively dumb. I think we have to stop with the picking the size. Like, I don't visit a lot of groups. I do the chats more than anything. I don't do groups because guys say things and they take things. Sometimes you say something, they take it out of content. And I think what boxing fans have to realize is listen, the sport is a business. That's number one.
Yeah.
Understand that, man. It's a business. So when cats be out here picking sides, well, I like this promoted because of this. Well, I like dog, they all do the same shit. They all do the same shit. You can love Bob Arams. Well, there's a reason why, the Manny Pacquiao, the Floyds, the Oscars, and the fucking Danny Garcia's got the fuck away from him. Hell, you can say Al Heyman, he ain't absolved of that. This motherfucker all but told Al Heyman all but told everybody, if you mention Terrence Crawford's name on Showtime, you're fired.
Hey, Bo, I used to be one of them though, Bo.
One of those what?
I thought that Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum was absolutely terrible. And the more and more I started going to events, the more and more you start to realize, it's like, yo, all these dudes, they the exact same guy. They just got a different philosophy about how they go about it.
That's it, man.
Yep.
Each guy brings something to the table. If you wanna be paid for fighting bums, Eddie. If you want to belt real fast, Bob. If you want to be if you want to cut out the middleman and be more of your own boss, Al.
Well, I think the thing everybody got to understand is all of these guys are in the business to make money. Make that clear. Okay. If they make a fight, listen, Bob Arams, if he makes a fight with you, like think about what he did with Jose Ramirez and Maurice Hooker, right? He said, Eddie, I want to make that fight. Okay, well, Maurice wants to fight in Texas, no problem. Well, Maurice wants his bitches, all his bitches sit up front, no problem. Well, Maurice wants Jose Ramirez do this, no problem. When Bob does that, that's because Bob is 70 to 80% confident his fucking fighter will win. He'll give you all.
That's exactly right.
He'll give you whatever the hell you want because I know my fight's about to win, right? So he knows that. So he does it. He make fights when he know his fighter is going to win. Okay, same thing with Lomachenko. He say, I want Lomachenko to fight Crowler. Okay, well, we need to fight in the UK, no problem. And Crowler is going to be no problem. He pretty much just told Eddie, send me the contract we're signing, nigga. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You straight back walking British motherfucker, just send me the goddamn contract. And that's it. Why? Because he knew Lomachenko would win. Go ahead.
With Manny Pacquiao, it was none of that.
Well, it was with other fighters except Floyd. But once the money, like when Marquez knocked him out, then he had to build himself back up. He knew, okay, I got to make the fight now because otherwise Pacquiao take another loss, the money's going to be fucked up. Remember when Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Hakeem Rodman? Everybody thought, oh, damn, Rodman had fucked up the money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when Bob makes fights, he makes them because he knows there's a great chance my fight is going to fight, right? So when he works across the table, same thing with Heyman. Heyman will feed you his little niggas. Oh, you want John Molina Jr.? No problem. Felix Diaz, Eric Molina? No problem, no problem. You want Deontay Wilder? No. I still got in-house money to make, motherfucker. You can't have a thoroughbred just yet. Chill. Pump your brakes. Because the reason why I say that because everybody wants to talk about the ducking. People forget one very crucial thing. Deontay Wilder fought I think it was either Eric Molina or Artur Spilka. On the undercard of that fight was Charles Martin versus whoever that Russian dude was for the IBF title.
That was Artur Spilka fight.
Okay, Artur Spilka, right? Okay.
Yeah.
3 months later, Joshua fights Martin. You fought the nigga on the undercard, and mind you, Deontay Wilder was an established heavyweight. He'd been a heavyweight, I think, almost for a minute at that time. So you didn't look at Deontay Wilder. You looked at the dude that was on the undercard who was a fresh champion and fought Charles fucking Martin. So when people talk about the whole ducking thing, like, wait a minute, dog, this was ordained for this to happen this way because they could have been fought. Like, what kept them from fighting Wilder that didn't keep them from, what kept them from fight Wilder that wasn't an issue when it came to fucking Dylan White? When both of them niggas was undefeated at that time they fought. Outside the fact that that's the, that's why I like that UK circuit. When you go through that UK domestic circuit, I like that, dog, because you know what? If you want that belt, these two top guys are going to fight. So they could have looked at Deontay Wilder and made that fight then, but everybody knew, hey man, we got to let this, we got to let this grow. And both these guys build and let this shit grow. And, so the whole, when people talk about the ducking and all of that, it's like Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence, that fight could happen as soon as Terrence Crawford got into welterweight. But did it happen? No. Bob Arams immediately had Terrence Crawford's first 3 fights when he got to 147 was Jeff Horn, Amir Khan, and fucking Jose Benavidez. Those are the first 3 fights when he got to 140. You know what I'm saying? So so I'm just saying, man, fans gotta stop being so ready to pick a side because I don't like this person. They all do the same goddamn thing, man. Yeah. And they do.
And Bo, this is another thing, and Jay, this for you too, is that all right, they make a plan. So people think these fights just happen out, okay, fight by fight. No. They give you an outline of how they want this shit to go. And so Danny, what is it? It's supposed to be Danny Garcia, Manny Pacquiao, and then Terrence Crawford. They're gonna get that in-house money before they do anything outside.
Well, yeah, that's what they all did. That's exactly what they all did. That's what I'm not Al Heyman. That's what Bob Arams did. Yeah. Pacquiao, how many fights he had with Marquez and Bradley? Did I really need to see that?
No, you didn't. And they don't realize they really be thinking like these fighters, oh yeah, he's scared. The fighters, more times than none, they want to fight the guy, right? But you got people that you pay in a room telling you, well, okay, we'll make $3 million if we fight Crawford right now. But if we fight him a year and a half from now, they'll give us $8 million.
That's true.
What's the conversation about? If I can get 3 to fighting these other guys, and I can get 8 down the road for him, 1 + 1 is 2. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I don't see why fans don't get that. It's just business.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Boxing fans don't understand that part of the game, and they're not trying to understand that part of the game. They rather be in that bubble of hate, talk shit, then hate for the rest of the night.
Yo, I've never seen a sport like this one. Like I was a big football fan, but I've never seen this kind of just uneducated hate.
Yes.
It's like y'all know I'm a Wilder fan, diehard Wilder fan. Joshua ain't scared of no Wilder. Like it's about leverage. It's about money. Why do I want to give you 50-50?
Yeah, that's actually
Why?
That's
Like
actually a very true statement.
I'm gonna argue for Joshua. And I'm a Wilder fan. Yo, I'm bringing in 100,000 people into the arena. I'm already established. Why should I give you 50-50? It makes no sense. Oh, well, don't worry about the money. You already making enough money. Okay, so a person that leaves a job for another job because they're paying $5 more an hour is going to tell me to leave $5 to $10 million on the table? Really? Come on, man.
Well, the thing with me, and we had this conversation where on the show we did, the Three Kings show, my man 2K, people was out there saying that Tyson Fury is the top dog of the division. He's over Anthony Joshua. No, just bless you. He's over Anthony Joshua. My argument, and both of us agreed that, there's no way Tyson Fury is over Anthony Joshua when Joshua did most of the heavy lifting. He had to fight to get those belts. Okay, so how is a guy with 3 belts? And they saying it because they looking at, well, Fury beat Wilder and Fury also beat Vladimir Klitschko. That's what they're saying, right? But because it's awfully interesting to me that when a guy loses, there's all this stock and value in him. Because prior to him losing, Deontay Wilder wasn't shit. He was the worst heavyweight. No, he wasn't shit, right? So now when he beats him, oh man, there's tremendous stock.
Yeah.
He had this tremendous.
It's funny how that works, though.
Yeah, he had a tremendous amount of stock, but they said because he beat him and Vladimir Klitschko, this should put him over Joshua. And I had, we had that discussion. I'm like, no, because, he's the WBC and the ring champion, but he's not the lineal champion because he retired. I don't give a fuck what ESPN tells you. The nigga retired, so he's not the lineal champion.
Yep.
But he's not the lineal champion. And I understand that work because that was the situation with Spence and Tyson. People were telling Tyson, man, you ain't the man until you beat Spence, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why that happened, because he was the lineal champion. But I can't put Tyson over Joshua because Joshua did most of the heavy lifting. He fought Charles Martin. He fought Vladimir Klitschko for the vacant belt. Then he fought Joseph Parker. He holds 3 of the belts. So I think you just gotta look at boxing fans, and they're very interesting. And I like them because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have shit to laugh at during the course of my fucking day. And that might sound cruel to some of y'all, but I'm being honest, man. Because some of the things you read, I say to myself, this motherfucker can't believe that. Like he really can't believe that. I read something where somebody says Anthony Joshua knocks out Tyson Fury. I damn near hit the car in front of me. I laughed so hard when I was driving when I read that shit.
I think Joshua beats Fury too.
No, beat him is one thing. He said knock him out. No, that doesn't happen.
I don't know about that. The fight could go a couple of different ways, but
Anthony Joshua not beating no Tyson Fury, dog.
I feel like he has a style that could cause problems.
Tyson Fury is levels above AJ.
I don't
know about
see it that way.
I don't know about that.
I don't see it that way.
He's levels above
AJ. I don't know about all that.
We can do a whole show on that.
All right, okay, let's plan that. Let's plan that. Let's plan that.
Yeah, let's plan it.
Let's plan that. Because I'm always open for good debate, man.
Yeah.
Yo, did you do a show with 2K today?
Yeah. We every day at between 6 and 6:30.
Okay, all right. I gotta make sure I check that out. A couple times that I saw it was really good. Yeah. Before we go, I want to send a shout out to the Boxing Source, my affiliate, Three Kings Boxing Source. JR, tell them where to find you at.
Yeah, just on YouTube, The Boxing Source, or through Facebook, The Boxing Source. You could check out the podcast that's on iTunes or Anchor.fm.
My man Big Bo from Three Kings. Tell him where to find you at, Big Bo.
Man, of course, as always, man, you can find me right here with my man. Whenever I get that time, man, it's hard to catch me, man. But whenever I get that time, man,
Hardest working man in show business. Man.
Yeah, it's hard to catch me, but whenever I get that time, hey, I just want to say, my man, the source, man. I saw one of your interviews, man. That was good shit, man.
Yeah, just you could catch a couple of the clips, man, on the YouTube page because we got stuff from Shannon Briggs, Riddick Bowe,
I think
Gary
the one
Russell Jr.
yeah, I was gonna say the Gary Russell Jr. one was the one I liked.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got a few of them out there. I'm gonna add a couple more on there because I need to add the highlights from Willie Monroe and Tika Hemingway. But
yeah, I was looking for the Willie Monroe joint. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, so I got to add that one on the YouTube joint. So
right,
I'll start chopping that up during the week.
All right, but yeah, you all could catch my articles and anything that I do, man, over at Three Kings Boxing on Facebook. 3kingboxing.com is the website, and then of course, like we said, we got the podcast every day between 6 and 6:30, man. And outside of that, man, I'm finna eat this motherfucking porterhouse steak and this rice, man. I'm gonna talk to y'all later.
He definitely gonna be sleep. Watch.
Yeah, man, that's a deep sleep right there, man.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining me. Really appreciate it, man. YSM Sports Media. We out.
All right, hey Jamil, you can give me a call, man, when you want.